That's bad.
Man, this car looks so good. Probably one of the best cars I've ever thrown together. So I'm out here today tinkering with, we're gonna start with the Skylark, mess with the wiring a little bit, see if we can get the lights working on this thing, because they haven't worked since I've had the car. And then once we're done with that, we'll probably go throw a transmission cooler in the Camaro and see if we can get that thing to move under its own power. No idea if that transmission that's in it's any good. It is a 4L60 that, to be honest, if it has to come out, might just start throwing a 400 in that thing. But yeah, the headlight wiring looks like it's all intact for this. I just have to get power to the fuse box and to the switch and everything. So I was looking at a wiring diagram yesterday, and I think I found it. So this one should be, I don't know if you guys can see that at all. This one should be the main power to the fuse box. And then this one looks like it's supposed to go right to the back of the headlight switch. These on the diagram both get power from the starter lug from the factory. So I'm going to just run a jumper wire from there over to our battery lug on the firewall right there. And hopefully, as long as all the grounds and everything are good, which is 50-50, we might have some headlights. And if we have some headlights, then we should have some taillights. Although the taillights are not currently plugged in. But the good news about that is the taillights are incredibly difficult to get to the plugs on this car. So that's fun. Truthfully, don't know if I can reach them from underneath. I know I can't get to them in the trunk. Hopefully the bumper doesn't have to come off or get loosened up or anything like that, because that would suck. This thing's got such a big ass bumper. I can kind of reach them from up here, or from over here, I mean. So now I just have to actually locate the harness, which I am not currently seeing. So we will deal with the taillights last, because that's going to be a pain in the ass. Usually I like to do the harder part first, but first I want to make sure that I can actually get power to the switch without having to do a bunch of jumper wires and stupid stuff like that. So let's start at the start. And getting sidetracked here, because I just looked in here. I really should just leave the bench seat alone. Eventually, maybe recover it or try and dye it black. But I should really just leave it alone. But I'd really love to have some buckets or Kirkies or something in here. I think that would just make it so much nicer. Anyway, focus on the task at hand. I'm gonna get a jumper wire, run it over to these, and we'll start testing some things. I really need to get a glass hood for this thing someday. But I just have a hard time justifying like 750 plus bucks. I mean, I can get a basic flat one for like 550, but if I'm gonna get one, I'd like to get a Sunoco hood. Just want to move it up to the garage so I'm not walking as far. The oil pressure sensors someday too, and I think I want to change the AFR sensor, the O2 sensor I mean. But at this point, I've got pretty close to 80 miles on the car so far, and it's been doing pretty well, just still working the bugs out of it here and there. What the hell happened here? Looks like an animal jumped on it. Can't have nothing nice around here. Probably one of the dang cats. And if those cats weren't so damn good at keeping mice out of the garage, they'd be out of here. So I need jumper wire just to test, and then ground. Alright, so after investigating for a few minutes, I found this looks like the ground for the high beams, low beams. I found the wire for the blinker, which I ran down through that hole there. That one. These, I believe, are horns. And I did get, I don't know if I talked about this in the videos at all, but this thing was shifting really weird. It was almost like it was hitting a rev limiter, but it wasn't getting to the RPM that the rev limiter was set at. It was just really weird. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. I'm gonna turn the camera off, just do some wiring stuff, and if anything exciting happens, I'll turn the camera back on. Alright, grounds are grounded. This one, I'm not entirely sure what it goes to, so I didn't hook that up, and just in case it's a positive, I didn't want it hooked into the grounds. If it is a ground, which it most likely is, then I'll just add it into the wiring. Same with over there, looking all good. I haven't hooked up the blinkers yet. Don't necessarily care about those right this second. I've got my jumper wire here that I'm just going to cap screw onto the middle wire there. Then we'll touch it to the battery post and see what we got. Alright. Got our lights out. Alright. Do we have anything? We have nothing. Okay. Fuck. Tremendous. Let me see if maybe both of those wires have to be hooked up. I'm just gonna keep trying stuff. Cars are weird, man. Alright, so it turns out that the headlight switch was, for whatever reason, unplugged. So after tracing a bunch of stuff, plug that back in, and we're ready to try again. Pretty sure, because I couldn't really find any broken wires or anything offhand, pretty sure it's going to work. Fingers crossed. Hey! Can't tell if they're working on the other side or not. Alright, wiggled the plug, got that one working. Hell yeah. Let's go see if the foot high beam switch works. Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys can see, looking at the reflection on this Cutlass. Hell yeah. Then this would just be the marker lights, which I don't know if this one even has a bulb, so we're kind of in no man's land right now. So now I can button up a few things, make it a little less temporary, and then start figuring out the rear. But yeah, we got headlights, high beams. Theoretically, we'll have blinkers too. Alright, so I got the headlights and everything working like you saw. Low beams, high beams, all that's good. Still haven't delved into the blinkers just yet. I was going to move on to the taillights. However, we're kind of at a standstill with that. Crawled under there, looked, couldn't find the harness, thought that's weird, maybe it's tucked up somewhere. So started tracing, followed them through here. There's a plug there that goes through the body. Well, I can't really see it. Basically where that plug comes through the body, on the other side there's nothing. The entire sub harness for the taillights is just gone. So that sucks. I did look it up. OPG has them for 183 bucks, which kind of sucks, but it'd be nice to get something that I could just plug in, put the bulbs in, and then done. So I might end up picking that up instead of trying to find some old plugs and piece it all together. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Do I? I don't remember seeing this at all. Yes. Yes, dude. We're saved. Oh my god. Now I just got to figure out how to get this thing all back on with the bumper on. Alright. Got the rear sub harness all fixed for the lights. There's a bunch of chewed up wires that... a couple that were broke off like right at the light plug that I hope I've got good enough to be functional. Now I just am tracing wires for the tail lights to get all that fixed, which is a whole lot more involved than the headlights was. Jesus. Anyway, I am tired of looking at wiring, so we're going to shift gears over here and get the Camaro a little bit closer to buttoned up. So you saw in the last video we got the radiator sunk into the core support. That's all looking good. Now we need the transmission cooler and then fill the transmission up with some fluid. Hopefully that all works, no problem. Haven't tested it yet. It's 4L shitty, so pretty hit or miss on how well that thing's gonna work. If it doesn't work, this car might just get a 400. Is what it is. So yeah, probably going to put that big ass 40K that I've got over there on it. Same thing that I've got on the Skylark. Same thing that we've got on something else. Oh, I put it on the Dime a Dozen S10, that's right. Can damn near pull the cardboard off of that now that thing's basically mounted. And we might have enough hose on this to not have to touch anything. Probably have to modify the mounts a little bit. I wish these were coming out the bottom over here. Wish they were coming out the bottom over on this side. We'll make it work. Come on. First, I guess let's try and get that thing up in place and start playing around with some different ideas. Wow, this might actually end up being pretty uneventful. This thing's gonna fit great in here. So these both land right on the headlight mounts over here. I might be able to cut this off and drill a hole and mount it off this bolt nut there on each side. Maybe I might have to use the lower one, I don't know. But yeah, and then the hose sneaks right next to the radiator. You can just cut the stock tranny lines and run those right there. I might try and cut them back a little bit more and then bend that section straight. That way the tranny lines are staying nice and kind of tucked out of the way. But yeah, this thing's more or less installing itself. I'm just gonna try and get it knocked out real quick. I don't have any tranny fluid to put in it right now, which is okay because I don't feel like suffering through this nightmare. Once I get things a little bit more buttoned up, I can put this clamp back on the hoses and drill a little hole and push connect that in there. Keep it nice and tidy. This is going to be a pretty clean car once it's done, aside from all the stock wiring. Which, someday, this thing might get like a Holly or a gold light box. I'm getting real spoiled on these Holly systems lately. They make tuning very easy. Although an NA car, for the time being, on stock ECU is really not too terrible. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to get this knocked out and get it buttoned up. And then probably call it a day. Alright, well, like I said, that was, doesn't get much easier than that. Cut the ends off it and just drilled new holes, mounted it right to the headlight brackets. That's all in there, nice and good. Like I said, I was going to cut down the stock tranny lines. I ended up cutting them basically right at the end there. Oh, shit, if I had noticed that this one was like that, I wouldn't have cut it. That was stupid. Yeah, I was going to shorten them and then run them differently, but for right now, I'm going to just leave it how it is. Down the road, if and when this thing ever gets a turbo, I don't want to have to reroute them again, and then they're not short enough, have to make whole new lines and bite myself in the ass like that. So for now, I'm just going to leave them like that. They're good enough, they're out of the way. They'll flow fluid, main thing you really need with them. So yeah, that's more or less where we're at for today. The only things left to do on this are put the fans on, put the battery back in it, fill it with fluid, and hopefully it goes into gear and we can take it down the road. Fingers crossed. But that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell, and getting notifications. I'll see you guys next time.